Hey guys, okay, so there's a few things I want to just show you today. I'll tell you about. One, I swapped out the F4 EVO board, Seriously Pro F4 EVO board, on this ZMR250 Owl. I've also changed the Runcam Owl camera out and I put a Swift 2 in there, and the flight controller now is the Omnibus F4 the Omnibus F4, and it's version 2. So my one's one with something dodgy to do with the LED strip, but as I haven't got any of those things on, I'm not bothered. Now, I'm using the TBS receiver still, 4-channel receiver, and I am not using Betaflight. This thing's got an on-screen display on it, built into the flight controller, and it's like Betaflight setup, but I'm not using Betaflight, I'm using iNAV. I decided I'm just going to sort of like really try and see if I can learn as much as I can about iNAV and setups in iNAV, not just GPS setups, because the GPS one works okay, as you can see on the left hand side, look, you've got LEDs on at the top, just losing that, and LEDs off down the bottom. So, and that's the GPS one, and this is on an overcast night, a bit like what today is during the day, but really overcast. There's no moonlight, there's no twinkling starlights, there's no nothing. The only sort of, on the left hand side, the black and whites that you see, the only sort of like light that you get up at the sky is what's being reflected off the ground, really. So really not the greatest time for getting out there for like a night flight, but it was just, I just wanted to see what it was going to be like, and show you guys, just so you can see what it's like with nothing, with absolutely nothing out there. And as you can see, like, it's going to be in the daylight now. So back to the colour picture here. This is the Swift 2 first came with a misaligned sensor, so I was getting to see a lot of the left hand side prop and hardly anything of the right hand side prop. But after talking to Runcam via email, send them a video link for an unlisted video, just showing the error. They were really good, and they said, look, we're going to send you out a new sensor. You know, you're telling us there's nothing actually physically wrong with it, so we're going to send you out a new sensor. Send me out a new sensor, fitted it in, and look, it's great. It's pretty much perfect. So I'm really happy with that. It's going to be interesting to see what this camera's like on a sunshiny day, because I think the guys from Rotor Riot who have put in their own settings on this, or at least give Runcam the settings that they set up with, so you have it on a profile in here. I think they've probably set it up for a bit more of a sunnier day, so I don't know whether I switched over to like a cloudy thing, whether it make any difference to the way it's working today. But to be honest with you, I quite like it. It's pretty good. Like I say, it'd be interesting to see what happens on a nice sunshiny day, and it's also going to be interesting to see how the jello is, or as it may or shouldn't be really, with this CCD camera. Down bottom left, look, as you can see, this is just outside where I live. LEDs are on, you can see the props are lit up. But it's much better to see when there's some other lighting around. Much better to see. Like I say, it's still all default settings, not changed anything, and until I get some nights where I can get out with some moonlight and stuff, I'm not going to be able to really do a great deal with any settings anyway. Just leave them on default and just see what it's like. To be honest with you, straight out of the bag, it's better set up in default than what the Runcam Owl was. Runcam Owl, I had to play around with that quite a lot to get a halfway decent picture. But that's probably just more from my naivety. Now look, top left now, you can see the props, look. That's how I had them, that's what it was like with this Swift when it was first set up. So I got a lot of left-hand side prop and hardly anything on the right, and I don't know, you know, to me that's just really annoying. I look at that when it's going along and I'm just getting irritated. And there's one thing that I found that you don't want to do while you're flying, is be irritated, because you'll crash. It might make the flight exciting, but you're more likely to crash. So I'm pretty chuffed actually that that's sorted out. Now for some reason it looks like the bottom video is just jammed. yeah, so yeah, so I'm just sticking with the iNAV stuff, just going back to the iNAV stuff, because I've seen, you know, majority of people go for the GPS build with iNAV, but from what I've read, it's just a fork off Cleanflight, the same as Betaflight is, and so a lot of the settings are going to be, you know, pretty much the same, except for the iNAV does specialise more around the GPS side of things, so you get more options for the GPS. It's been more finely tuned as a flight control system, you know, the software for the flight controller. But I think I'm going to stick with it a little bit. The only one I haven't actually got around to using, and I think I might just do it for a day or two, is put Betaflight on this, on the colour one, what you see from the colour one. Is put Betaflight on there and just see how or what, if there is any difference with the on-screen display, the layout, the way it looks, because that is definitely different to what I've been used to using the Minim OSD, because that's on a separate board, you see, and this one doesn't have it. It has it built in to the flight controller. It's notable I still get those lines on the screen though, as you can see. But yeah, who cares? That's just obviously that's just the way it's going to be, and I can live with it. That doesn't really bother me at all. It's not flickering or anything when I accelerate. You know, when I give it a throttle, it's not flickering or doing anything dodgy. So I'm happy with that. I've decided I'm going to do some tweaks on my GPS build. I'm going to put some lower rev, higher torque motors on there, and I'm also going to put on the 3mm arms, because I've got 5mm arms on these ZMR250 frames. I figured I'd be crashing into everything all the time, but I don't really crash that much, so I'm quite chuffed with that. So on the GPS one, I'm going to lighten it up, like I say, by sticking the 3mm arms on there rather than the 5mm arms, and I'm going to put some motors on there which are more refined for longer flight times. It won't be as punchy, but I'll get longer flight times. Now, you got to remember, on these quads that I've built, I'm only using 1.8 amp batteries, so 1800 milliamps. Like in the Hubsan, you've got, what is it in there, 2.7, isn't it? 2.7 amp batteries. They're already 2S, and these are 3S batteries I'm using. So really, I'm going to see if I can tweak up the actual design of it first, like I said, by changing those motors, dropping down the weight of the arms, and do that bit, and then I will probably up the power of the motors as well, up the power of the batteries as well. I'm not going to put too much weight on these batteries that I'm using, or the motors, just because they're not really designed to be carrying loads and loads of weight, from what I understand from watching videos and reading. So, but I'm quite chuffed. I'm quite chuffed with how responsive this is. It flies nice. It does fly nice. If it seems like it's a bit twitchy, I'm pinching still, but my thumbs are, because it's my first day out with this, with the Betaflight board, the Omnibus board, sorry, with iNAV on it. It's my first time out with it. I'd only just changed that camera over, so apart from doing a little test hover in this room that I'm in, yeah, this is the only flight it's had, so I'm chuffed. Seems to be okay again. Seems like everything's working okay. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, I think there's still a few minutes left of just flying around, and I think I'll just leave you with that. Put a stick with music on. Oh, there was something else I was going to say actually. Yeah, so I mean, if you guys are out there and you're thinking, hey, I wouldn't mind putting one like a GPS one together, I'm getting quite experienced and quite understanding now with the iNAV thing. I mean, I've taken it apart. I set up GPS on this one, on the Owl, on the colour one there first, before I then put the Omnibus board in there. I set it all up for GPS, so I'd have a colour one with GPS, and then I have the nighttime one. All I had to do was just keep changing over the modules, but I decided, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have one that's quite sporty and rip that around, which is going to be this one on the right hand side with the Swift in it, and I'm going to have the oops, little crash there, let's get it going again, and I'll have the other one for the night time. I wish the frames, you know, that's one thing that does me in a little bit. The Runcam Owl and the Swift both fit in the same bracket, but the Eagle is a bit narrower. It's a bit, it'll rattle around in the same brackets, which is a little bit annoying because it means that I can't put, with the Eagle in the ZMR frame, I can't put the Owl in that bracket because it's too small, too narrow. I wish they'd make them the same bloody widths. But never mind. What I'm going to end up doing is taking that one apart, the frame, sticking in the Owl bracket, and then just finding some spacers and some slightly longer screws. So if I want to swap over and put the Owl bracket in it, or the Swift in it for daytime flight with the GPS, I can. And if I want to have it on the Nightcam Eagle, Runcam Night Eagle, I should say, I can then have it like that for nighttime flights. It would just be so much easier if the brackets were the same size. But yeah. Maybe they've done that with the Runcam Eagle too. I don't know. I should go and have a look at the measurements for the brackets if they supply them, and see if they're the same. And if they do, it will work out worth it actually getting one of the same bracket size, or just do the different size screw things. That would be the one to do, I expect. Yeah, so this is just a little last bit of just flying around with this. I only took out 3 batteries. One battery I just played around with in front of me, just making sure everything was okay. And these ones, but I'm really chuffed with this. I can't believe how easy it is becoming now, just swapping out these flight controllers, you know, rewiring everything. I must admit, I don't just look at it and go, right, I'm going to do it like this. I do spend a few days mulling it over in my head for, what about if I wanted to change it like that? What if I don't cut the wires back, don't do this? You know, all these thoughts go through my head because some boards you can connect the signal wires for the ESCs on the corners of the board. But if you did that, you wouldn't be, and if you cut them all to that length, you then wouldn't be able to use those same signal wires from the ESCs to go on any of the boards that have the motor connectors directly at the front, or even at the side, because your wires now are all cut to the short length. See, these are the sort of things that goes through my head when I think about it. Oh, I've got a board here where I can connect all the signals to one side, and I've got a board that I can put them in the corners, but if I put that board on and cut them all, that means I can't change the boards back round again, and I know I'm going to want to. This Owl, how many times have I taken this apart? It started off with an F3 board in there, and it's been apart so many times, different boards now. You know, it's getting ridiculous, but how else? And this is the way I learn, just by keep repeating it, change it out, try different boards, set it all up, you know. But it's fun. I find it really fun. It's almost therapeutic, you know. If you've got anything bothering you and you just get your head focused on building, before you know it, you know, the evening's gone, you've built yourself up a new craft, you're just having a little test hopper in front of you and it feels really good. It's great. It's absolutely great. And I know if anything goes wrong with this, anything's happening, I know what it is. I know what's happening when it's going wrong, so I don't have to be reliant on anybody for anything. It's yeah, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And this is in acro mode as well. Don't know if you noticed. I think as well, with the nighttime stuff, I think I was in Horizon because I hadn't been using acro so much. But now I've just been using acro all the time when I've been coming out. But on the other one, on the I've only got 4 channels on this receiver, But on the other one, I've got 16 channels on the GPS one, so I can put it into air mode and all sorts, and turn it off as I come in for landings and all sorts. So it's all good fun. But that's it. That's the end of this video, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. I'll land on that box again. I love landing on this box. Take off and land from the box. It's just try and have that control there. There we go. Speak to you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye bye.